August 14, 2025, the USS Gerald R detects subsurface contacts. 3 Russian submarines approach the carrier strike group. Routine operations turn into a demonstration of American naval power. Moscow attempts intelligence operations against the U.S. Navy. The Ford carrier strike group stands ready to defend. A Virginia-class submarine conducts covert trailing operations. NATO maritime patrol aircraft maintain rotating coverage. The Russian task force is led by the Yasen-class submarine Kazan. Intelligence indicates the Kazan is equipped with surveillance systems. The Russian submarines will achieve weapons release range in 47 minutes. Torpedoes could cover the remaining distance in under 6 minutes. The Ford's escort destroyers can reach the Russian submarines in 90 seconds. The tactical geometry favors the defenders by a decisive margin. The Admiral's response exemplifies American naval confidence. Let's see how badly they want to embarrass themselves first. Submarine contact information is automatically distributed. The Alliance response resembles a precision surgical strike. A British Type 23 frigate comes about to flank speed. 8 Boeing P-8 Poseidon aircraft scramble from bases. Each Poseidon represents $130 million of submarine hunting capability. A Virginia-class submarine receives authorization to make her presence felt. The Russians are about to learn what maintained contact actually means. The tactical picture transitions to tactically comedic. The Russian submarines execute what they believe is sophisticated deception. One submarine ascends to 200 meters depth, deliberately increasing. Each Poseidon deployed near Iceland represented a $130 million investment. These aircraft boasted advanced acoustic processors, a vital asset. Detecting even a shrimp at 500 meters, a remarkable capability. A Virginia-class submarine shadowed the Russian task force. After 3 days, authorization came make their presence felt. The Russians were about to learn what maintained contact meant. At 1515 hours, the tactical situation turned almost comical. Russian submarines attempted a sophisticated deception. 1 ascended, increasing signature, while 2 went deep. They hoped to slip past undetected using Wolfpack tactics. Cutting edge in 1985, obsolete by 2025? NATO systems classified the decoy in approximately 3 seconds. Perfect tracking maintained on both stealthy submarines. Their acoustic signatures, shopping carts on gravel. The Russian intent record Ford signatures map escort geometry. Catalog radar emissions document aircraft launch patterns. Every data point would feed targeting solutions. Professional intelligence work executed with competence. They had no comprehension of what NATO was about to unleash. By 2000 hours, the first P-8 Poseidon arrived overhead. The Russian submarines were about to experience hammering. The P-8, a 737 frame, the world's most sophisticated hunter. It costs $130 million and can detect a dolphin's heartbeat. Crews rotate every 4 hours with food, restrooms, climate control. The P-8 deployed sonobuoys, creating an acoustic cage. These transmit active sonar pulses at 140 decibels. The Soviet silent service reputation vanished instantly. They were now the loudest object in the ocean. Every train to seconds ping. No escape, no relief. Arleigh Burke destroyers activated their sonar systems. Fish near the ships literally get stunned. The U.S. Navy converts the ocean into a concert speaker. Then came the simulated attack runs by P-8 aircraft. Russian crews had to assume each run might be genuine. Emergency dive, blow ballast, hard rudder. The Kazan attempted a 30-knot sprint to break contact. 4,3,000 horsepower sounded like a washing machine full of hammers. Why would the Russians tolerate this treatment? Every radar system has an electromagnetic fingerprint. Acquire those signatures and you can develop jamming systems. They were recording the entire electromagnetic spectrum. Carrier launch aircraft every 90 secondes. That pattern reveals crew shift schedules. This intelligence would enable attacks on carrier groups. NATO was not going to permit them to complete their homework. Russian submarines launched acoustic decoys. NATO computers classified each decoy in 33 seconds. By hour, 24 submarine hunting became performance art. British warship arrived with her Type 2087 array sonar. Helicopters started lowering dipping sonar. The Russians attempted to exploit thermal layers underwater. Dipping sonar penetrates these layers with ease. The coordination required was extraordinarily complex. NATO divided the airspace into strategic blocks. P-8 aircraft flew from 20,000 to 25,000 feet. Helicopters operated below 500 feet. Each nation had specific radio frequencies assigned. Americans used ultra-high-frequency communication. The Data Fusion Center created a 3D picture. American submarine maintained perfect trail position. The submarine was essentially a ghost with torpedoes. The crew was recording every sound and maneuver. This represented intelligence collection of the highest order. The Russians tried to hide in underwater canyons. NATO positioned helicopters directly overhead. The destroyer sonar could track them from surface. The American submarine matched every move. The commanding officer decided to send a message. One quick pulse of active sonar. P-8 crews timed their sonar pings strategically, preventing rapid eye movement sleep cycles. Russian sailors were likely hallucinating. The Russian submarines attempted desperately to escape. NATO hadn't written that handbook. The P-8 switched systems. Radical depth charges and destroyers covered the seafloor. NATO systems cataloged every decoy launched by the submarine. Evading NATO is like losing the IRS during tax season. They know where you are going, and what you owe. The Russians aborted their mission pretending it was the plan. They withdrew composing reports of a successful operation. NATO maintained contact, escorting them out of the building. Everyone knows what happened, but we're keeping up appearances. NATO collected enough acoustic intelligence to recognize them from space. Every pump valve and sanitation system is in NATO's database. The Russians need to rebuild their submarines from the keel up. State media spun it as a successful intelligence-gathering mission, certainly like the Titanic testing its ice detection capabilities. The lesson: handle active sonar or don't venture into the deep. The North Atlantic remains American and NATO-controlled waters. Any nation forgetting this gets a 48-hour remedial course, delivered with surgical precision and overwhelming superiority. The Ford Carrier Strike Group resumed routine operations. Russian submarines returned to port balance remained in NATO's hands. This was not close, not a fair fight, a textbook demonstration, challenging U.S. naval power where it has absolute dominance. Russians came for intelligence, provided NATO a signature database. Some lessons are best learned from a safe distance. The verdict is clear, the dominance is absolute, the message unmistakable. The North Atlantic belongs to NATO. Thank you for listening.